Hello boys and girls, welcome to Mrs. Bandu's Math Movies. This is Course 2, Lesson 2-3, Simplifying Fractions. Our objective is to write equivalent fractions and to simplify them. We only have a couple of vocab terms here, so let's go ahead and get started right away with those. Equivalent fractions are fractions that name the same amount. Okay, so for example, 1/2 is equal to 3/6. Both of those fractions name the same amount, so they would be called equivalent fractions. A fraction is written in simplest form. Simplest form is important because that's often going to be your directions. When the numerator, and remember the numerator is the top number, and denominator, which is the bottom term in a fraction, have no common factors other than 1. Okay, another way of saying that is that they would be relatively prime, but they have no common factors other than 1. Okay, so let's look at a couple of ways we can use multiples and factors to write some equivalent fractions here. So here, the first way is using multiples. Use a table of multiples to write 3 fractions equivalent to 3/7. Okay. Now, you might use the same idea, but perhaps not in a table. We have the table here, so we'll fill it out. Basically, I could multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2, so 3 times 2 would give me 6. 7 times 2 is 14. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 4 is 12. And 4 times 7 is 28. Now I can use these sets of numbers to form fractions. Okay, so 3 fractions that are equivalent to 3/7 are 6/14, 9/21, and 12/18. 12/28. I misspoke there. And remember, it's not necessary to do these in a table. Again, we had it set up for us, so we're going to go ahead and use it. All right. Now, this is using factors. So here we multiplied and got larger numbers. Here we're using factors. What we're going to do here is we're going to be what many of us call simplify or reduce. We're getting smaller numbers. Okay? So first of all, let's list the factors of each number and look for some common factors. So the factors of 16 are 1 and 16, 2 and 4, 2 and 8, excuse me, and then just 4. 4 is a double, so you can write 2 4s if you want, but you don't really need to. Okay, factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6, and I can stop here because I would now start repeating. Okay, so what I would do then, either by circling or by looking, I'm just going to look at their common factors other than 1. Okay, so their common factors are 2, 4, and 8. Okay. And you could circle them. Just made it just not quite so messy listing them off to the side. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the original fraction of 16/24 and divide that by these common factors. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. 24 divided by 2 is 12. Okay, back to the original. 16 divided by 4 is 4. 24 divided by 4 is 6. And finally, the original 16/24, 16 divided by 8 is 2. And 24 divided by 8 is 3. Okay, so 3 equivalent fractions to 16/24 are 8/12, 4/6, and 2/3. 2/3 would actually be, of these fractions, the one in simplest form, because the only common factors for 2 and 3 are 2. Okay. All right, we still have, all of our examples are in order on this one. There's no breaks. The quick checks are last, so no need to break here. All right, simplify by dividing. So we want to write 12/30 in simplest form. Okay, divide the numerator and denominator by a common factor. Now it's chosen 3 for us, so we're going to go with 3. Remember, you can usually just choose any number you know that is a common factor, so we'll start with 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 30 divided by 3 is 10. When I stop and look, 4 and 10 have common factors, the common factor being 2, because 4 and 10 are both even. Remember, all even numbers are divisible by 2, so I'm going to divide one more time, in this case the numerator and denominator by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, 10 divided by 2 is 5. In simplest form, 12/30 is 2/5. Okay, and number 4 is related to number 3. Simplify, we're going to be using the greatest common factor to simplify a fraction. There are 28 students in my homeroom. Of these, 20 students have a pet. What fraction of the students have a pet? Write your answer in simplest form. Okay, so what we want to do here, since here it's actually told us right here that we want to use our greatest common factor, we need to find the greatest common factor of 20 and 28. So off to the side, let's list the factors of 20. So 20's factors are 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 3 doesn't work, 4 and 5, 6 doesn't, 7 doesn't, 8 doesn't, 9 doesn't, 10 doesn't, and we're starting to repeat. Okay, I mean 10 does, and that's starting to repeat. All right, 24's factors are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. 5 doesn't work, and we go be back to 6. So when I look through my list, the largest factor that 20 and 24 share is 4. So I'm going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by the greatest common factor of 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 28 divided by 4 is 7. So the fraction of the students that have a pet is 5/7. Again, in general, unless you're told otherwise, you are going to write all of your answers to fraction questions in simplest form, unless you're listing equivalent fractions, because obviously then all of them would reduce to the same number, and you couldn't write three or four different ones. Okay, so that was a run through of the basic things you need to accomplish in this section. You have 4 quick check questions. Please have those completed by the next time we meet in class, and I look forward to seeing you then.